I eat little shit nuggets. I heard they putting anyone in Smash these days, so I wanted to, well,
Man, that was really something, wasn't it? You know, I expected at least one character to die in this most recent Smash Direct, but I guess that everyone is dead memes really were right. Super Smash Bros. Has always been a franchise close to my heart, though calling it a franchise feels a bit disingenuous. I mean it is, but Super Smash Bros. Is more of a celebration of all things Nintendo, and these days with Smash Ultimate almost feels like a celebration of all things video games. Every time a new Smash Bros. Is announced, everyone just goes freaking nuts. It feels like an event on a global scale. Everyone gets huddled around their computers, flocking to online forums and discussions to discuss their favorite characters and why they think that they should appear in Super Smash Bros. Whether they're first party or third party, everybody wants a fragment of their childhood to be represented in this franchise, and for most of us, that's actually what we get. I remember my sister bringing over her GameCube with a handful of games one day, booting up Super Smash Bros., going to that character select, and then my little child brain thinking, oh, there's Mario in there! Yeah, Super Smash Bros. Was one of my earliest recollections of a video game that I played. I did have a Super Nintendo before that with some handy-down games from my brother, including Mega Man X, Mario All-Stars, Super Mario World, Mortal Kombat, and the Holy Grail. Super Smash Bros. Taught me that this character's name is indeed not Metroid, and is Samus, and that was enough to pique my interest. But there were so many other characters too, some that I recognized, like Link, Zelda, Mario, and then there were some really weird oddballs to me, like Jigglypuff, Ganondorf, Marth, Captain Falcon, who the fuck? And maybe that was their goal, exposing the youth to all of these incredible franchises that Nintendo has built their legacy around. If that was their goal, then whew, it worked. Though today I personally find Melee a bit dated, considering that there's only like 4 characters that can actually function this day and age. Many of the other characters are completely useless, and for me that really sucks. And I don't know if this is a normal thing with these sort of crossover fighting games, but I personally prefer to play as a character that I have some kind of attachment to. For example, through nostalgia, I want to play as a Mario or Samus. And this sort of applies to other fighting games too, like Killer Instinct, that's a great example. As soon as I booted it up, I didn't know who any of these characters were other than the Battletoads guy. But I immediately see this Predator drone looking guy and I'm like, okay, that's my new main, because yes, I like cyborgs. I don't care if they're good, bad, evil, somewhere in between. I like cyborgs, I like AI, I like fucking robots. I'm gonna play as the robot. And that sort of ties over to Smash Bros. I only want to play as a character that holds my interest. I don't care about Fire Emblem. I'm sorry, I don't. Actually, I do care. I want to try it, but it's probably not for me. Point is, there's a lot of Fire Emblem characters, and I'm probably not gonna play any of them except for Roy, because Roy, he looks cool, but he sucks in Melee. Though it is worth bringing up the competitive scene of Melee, that shit is crazy. Now yes, all of the competitive players tend to pick from a pool of about 5 characters that actually functioned. Here's a fun game, take a shot anytime a Melee player picks Marth, Fox, or Falco. I'm gonna need the whole bottle. But from the little bit that they had to work with, they managed to create one of the most entertaining online fighting game event sort of things that I've ever seen, and still watch to this day. But this day and age where Super Smash Bros. Is getting online support and constant updates that rebalance the characters, screw the tiers, man. Pick whoever you want, even if it means losing miserably. Like, they at least have some chance of winning. But other than that, my memories of Super Smash Bros. Melee start to become a little bit more faded. I remember staying up collecting trophies, running through adventure mode with all the characters, and I'd have more to say about the Nintendo 64 Smash Bros., but sadly I never owned the game, or a 64 actually. It wasn't until the announcement of Super Smash Bros. Brawl that I started to take the Smash franchise a bit more seriously. It's hard to think that this E3 trailer back in 2006 was all the hype, especially with the trailers for future installments that would have all these incredible fan favorites showing up. But back in the day, about 12 years ago, loading up this video on your most recent version of QuickTime Player, just to see all these newcomers in action, Wario looked like he did back in WarioWare, some weird freaking angel kid. Hey, Meta Knight, I remember him, he was a trophy in Melee. And Zero Suit Samus. Okay, At this time, yes, I knew Samus was already a badass female space bounty hunter, but oh my god, this made me so nervous when I first saw this trailer. I was always terrified of my parents walking in on this. As soon as this shot came on, I'm like, oh god, okay, mom, it's not what it looks like. I'm a good noodle, I swear! And then, man, right after the trailer ended...
スネーク、忙しいところすまないが、ビッグニュースだ。
Who?
ショータイムだ。
Such a lust for revenge?
Yeah, I had no idea who this guy was, and it's kind of ironic because Metal Gear Solid today is one of my favorite gaming franchises. Not as good as Metroid, but it's close. But this was actually a huge deal for the Super Smash Bros. Franchise. To my knowledge, Snake is the first playable third-party character in Smash. And even if you didn't care or even know what Metal Gear Solid was, this opened the door for so many possibilities. Maybe fans could see characters like Mega Man, Simon from Castlevania, Cloud, all of these characters from franchises that in one way or another tie back to Nintendo. Characters that together could make the ultimate crossover game. I just made a pun. Okay, real talk, do you guys remember the Smash Dojo? Because that ultimately is what I have to thank for my love of the franchise. I just said ultimate again. For those of you who weren't aware, the Smash Dojo was basically just a blog where the creator of the game, Masahiro Sakurai, would post updates straight to fans on old and new editions that were present in the game. From smaller editions like items, music, and Pokemon, to huge revelations like newcomers, assist trophies, and the new and improved adventure mode, Subspace Emissary. The Subspace Emissary is what kept me on the edge of my seat until the game's release. I would tell all of my classmates about it before they all muttered back to me in unison, "What the fuck is a Smash Brother?" But a long story-driven Smash Brothers adventure was something that I really always wanted from a crossover like this. Though I admit I would have much rather have had something like running through Brinstar and fighting off space pirates, rather than running through a generic field fighting electric sheep. Oh, that's clever. Subspace Emissary included a lot of newly designed enemies that, credit where credit is due, all fit within the theme of the game. And what is that theme? Semi-realism, gritty darkness, I guess? From smaller details like being able to make out the denim on Mario's overalls, to the story literally featuring your favorite Nintendo characters getting bombed by some sort of cult and being shot and basically killed by Wario, who's sort of the story's antagonist, for at least a while anyway. This sort of thing was new to me as a kid, seeing all these cartoonish icons from my childhood being thrusted into these really dark and relatively realistic scenarios really fascinated me. One thing that ow, I just pinched my finger. Like, some of this really unsettled me. Like, for example, when you first encounter Ridley with Samus and Pikachu, Ridley just shows up and drags Samus across the wall, and seeing her head getting shook around like that, that really spooked me as a little child. I don't know why that freaked me out over everything else. But, oh man, this story had so many good moments in it. From the moment where we get to see Captain Falcon whip out a Falcon punch on a giant Rob. Also, Rob's here. He was cool, he spun things. Or what about when Fox just deadass takes a legendary Pokemon out to save Diddy Kong? Man, Sakurai had to know about the meta about the deflector. That's just too perfect. And oh man, how could you forget that badass space battle near the end? All of our heroes and their gunships just facing off against the subspace army, complete with the absolutely heavenly theme of Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Oh, it's perfect. Or what about the twist where DDD, who we thought was the villain, actually is the good guy all along?
What the fuck, Richard?
And oh man, I know you guys have heard it a million times, but October 10th, 2007.
Sonic is not cheap! Sonic's just fast!
Sonic the Hedgehog coming to Smash? Oh my god, I couldn't believe it. Okay, for some context, around 2008-2007, my love for the blue blur was at an all-time high. And though these days I don't really care for Sonic as much as I used to, oh man, back then, seeing that trailer where Sonic just zooms past Mario and Live and Learn starts to play, oh man, it gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. Though there's no denying that he was a bit rushed. He was a little bit broken and all of his moves felt about the same. Like, it felt like he was just included at the last second. Even his inclusion in the story mode, which they didn't even have to do, but decided to anyway. All he really serves to do is to destroy Taboo's tramp stamp wings. That's really it. Also, yeah, this is Taboo. He's like the real big bad guy, I think. He turns everyone into trophies and makes you run around in a great maze. It's okay. The Great Maze is weird. Honestly, going back and replaying Subspace right now, the whole thing is absolutely bonkers. Why did I write that in my script? That's not something I normally say. Trying to create a coherent story with all of these franchises facing off against an original enemy faction whose goal seems almost comically vague, it seems like something that shouldn't work. And for some it didn't, but for me, it did. And the folks who don't like Subspace, they really didn't like Subspace. And I kind of understand why. In Melee, adventure mode was something that lasted maybe about 10 minutes, maybe 20. But Subspace was hours long, and it was a story that you could go back and replay on multiple difficulties, get better ranks, go back to unlock more characters. Some people just wanted a short, replayable adventure, and that's fine. Now you might be wondering, Trav, why the hell are you spending so much time on Super Smash Bros. Brawl? There's no denying the dedication and time that myself and many other people put into Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Though in my opinion, I think that Super Smash Bros. Brawl is probably the weakest in the franchise. And that, in my opinion, is because of the gameplay. The gameplay in Brawl just feels wrong. Everyone is so much floatier. Everything is so slow, and yet you can't follow up on anything. It honestly feels like Super Smash Bros. Brawl was meant to be more casual, and it probably was. I like the idea of a less experienced player being able to hold their own against a more experienced player if it's about fun. You know? That's what things like handicaps are for. That was in Melee. You didn't have to nerf everybody. And that is where the modding community came in. Project M is a prime example, and is really the only one I'm going to be talking about today. Basically, it was a full restoration of all of the problems that Brawl added over Melee. Characters that were in Melee played like how they did in Melee. Mario doesn't have Flood anymore, he has his tornado move thing. But then characters that were added, like Lucario, Snake, and Pit, they all got buffs too, and they're so much fun to play. Project M probably has the most fond memories for me when it comes to playing Smash Bros with some friends. Fire! Bitch, I'm a flaming fire! All my life, Smash Bros has been the game where all of my friends could come together and just play. And for years, I'd have my friend Matt over, remember him? During my high school days and just play Smash Brothers. We'd order a pizza, get some soda, play some Smash Brothers until the sun came back up. And I'll tell you one thing, nothing makes me happier than seeing a friend who would dedicate his life to playing Pichu, later becoming really fucking good at Smash Brothers. It's a magical experience. It's like a father seeing his son grow up, like from a Squirtle to a Blastoise.
I need my chicken nuggets.
Can I have my sweet potato Big Daddy?
Nintendo 64.
Why you trying to cheat on a really good game?
I am Bill De La Tree.
Wait, did you say Peggy?
Chicken nugget. Oh! He just two-stocked your ass.
All you do is follow these patterns!
Yeah. Chicken nugget. Perfect going. No! Oh my God, chicken nugget.
A head-spinning chicken nugget.
Now, if you're expecting anything like my story for Super Smash Bros. Brawl to carry over to Smash 4, I'm really sorry, because unfortunately, I was in high school during Smash 4's development. And I don't know about you, but high school, that was a really stressful time. I had a lot of homework that I wasn't doing. And by that I mean, I was just putting my homework off to the side saying, screw it, I'll do it tomorrow, I want to play video games. I also didn't have internet, so that didn't help. But a lot of the news I would hear a few days or a few weeks afterwards. I remember my friends telling me that Super Smash Bros. 4 was just announced, and that Mega Man was in it. What? No, okay. So I remember taking my PlayStation Vita because I bought one of those at launch. I don't have it anymore. I sold it. I don't care. And I walked down to the nearest McDonald's I had just so I could use their public Wi-Fi so that I could just watch the new Smash trailer. But as soon as I got a signal and I booted up that trailer... Oh my god. It's so good. I can't remember it perfectly, but I'm like 95% sure I actually cried when I saw the Mega Man trailer. I don't fucking care, don't at me. Also, Little Mac was announced. Now, Little Mac isn't as important to me as, say, Mega Man, obviously, but Punch-Out for Wii is one of my favorite Wii games, if not my absolute favorite Wii game, and I personally love the Punch-Out franchise. And especially during the time of Smash 4's development, where I was without internet in my one-bedroom apartment, I almost played nothing but Punch-Out during that time. So Little Mac being included, especially around the time that he did, it really meant a lot to me. It really did. Other than that, I can't really remember much more of the Smash 4 hype up until the game's release. I remember receiving a gift code for that special Smash demo for 3DS that never expired, and I'll tell you, having Smash Brothers on the go, that was pretty cool. I would be on the bus ride home and I'd just be collecting trophies. And oh man, Smash Brothers for 3DS had the coolest feature that I really wish would make a comeback.
Smash Run.
I never really understood why they never brought this feature back, and it looks like it's not coming back in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as well. You basically run around an open world fighting enemies from all over franchises that should have been in the adventure mode. Oh wait, there is no adventure mode. God damn it. And you collect stat boosts, and at the end you have some kind of challenge, whether you're fighting someone or climbing a mountainside or whatever. This is fucking amazing. The sad thing though is that I feel like the 3DS version took away from the hype of Smash for Wii U, which is ultimately, god damn it, stop saying ultimate, which is definitely the better version of Smash 4. Not just because it's on a TV and you could use a GameCube controller, but it felt like everything you could do in Smash 3DS you could already do in Smash Wii U. Now sure, there was some extra stuff you could do, like, I don't know, classic mode?
Now, one mode that I think made Smash for Wii U stick out over Smash for 3DS is a little mode called Crazy Orders. Now, the cool thing about Crazy Orders is that you would get tickets for them in Classic mode. You would be sent on near-endless missions in a 10-minute time limit for Crazy Hand. These missions would range from free-for-alls to giant battles. After each level, you're healed just a little bit, but then at the very end, assuming you don't fail, you get to fight Crazy Hand, and all of the damage that you've built up is then accumulated into health points. So there's a really nice risk versus reward sort of system going on here. However, much like other modes like this in other games, assuming that you just worked your ass off for some great rewards, or if you lost catastrophically, you don't really have any drive to go back and replay it. You feel defeated, you don't want to do all that again. I don't want to say that it's roguelike, I feel like that's not the right way to describe it, but kind of feels a little bit roguelike, I guess. And I'm not going to talk much about Smash Tour. I thought it was fun. I think people overreact with how much they hate it. With Smash Tour. But now it feels like because of the lack of an adventure mode or anything of the sorts, Smash 4 is basically left in the dust, and that's probably why they didn't give it a subtitle. It's the only Smash Brothers except for the first one that doesn't have some kind of subtitle to it. Like Smash for GameCube had Melee, and then we got Brawl, and now we're getting Ultimate. And oh yeah, which Smash Brothers was your favorite? Oh yeah, my favorite was Smash for Wii U. The plus side though is that this, at least up until Ultimate, I'm hoping, was the definitive version of Smash Brothers. The combat was slower than Melee, sure, but it felt a lot more balanced, I guess. And with the inclusion of online, characters were able to receive buffs and balances to make every character have a fighting chance. This isn't Brawl, you don't have to just play as Meta Knight. In fact, he's a lot more balanced and doesn't really have an advantage over any of the other players anymore. I do remember the announcement of Amiibos, which basically were little collectibles, and they're fun, I like them. Nintendo did later create Amiibo support for other games, and that's pretty cool. I wasn't too thrilled about the Mario Party Amiibos, but ooh, these Metroid ones. Oh, they're good. And squishy. I like squishy. The new classic mode felt infinitely replayable though, with its scaled difficulty and an additional boss called the Master Core. Gone were the days of trying to get Crazy Hand to appear in Melee. Now if you were playing at a high enough difficulty, you got to fight the true essence of Smash. A swarm of bees that came together to form other monsters, and if you're playing on the Wii U version at a higher enough difficulty, you get to face off against the Master Fortress, which was basically this game's adventure mode. Not really, it's the closest we got to an adventure mode, and it's fun. It's just a shame that it's difficulty locked behind like 9.0. But Smash 4's legacy wasn't done yet, because being an online game in the modern age, it had DLC. Man, I really wish I had more to say about this, because I remember sitting in my retail job behind the register on my phone, right before the trailer for Cloud dropped, and thinking, that's cool. I never really had much interest in Final Fantasy, I admit. I respect the franchise, they're not really my thing. But I remember Cloud from my childhood. I think my sister tried to get me to play Final Fantasy VII, and though I liked it, it spooked me a bit. But hey, I had enough of a childhood connection to this character. I also remember taking the bus ride home and seeing that Ryu is coming to Smash? Okay, that's interesting. I loved Street Fighter, but it felt like he never really fit into Smash. Though I do remember as a kid thinking, oh man, I wonder what it would be like if Ryu was in Smash. Oh, that was actually back when I thought his name was Ryu. But then there was also... Oh, that hurt
hurt my own ears.
But then that leads up to today for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which is only less than a month away. Sakurai has given us so much, from fan favorites like King K. Rool and Incineroar, to characters that I personally have been waiting for such a long time to see, like Simon, Ridley, and Dark Samus. I remember staying up all night just so that I'd be awake for the E3 livestream for the reveal of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and I did the same thing for the Nintendo First Direct. I kept up with all of the rumors and leaks, and yes, I believed in the Grinch leak. I know some folks gave me shit like, why did you believe in such an obviously fake leak? But hey, I think I was justified in thinking that the evidence stacked up for everything for it. Heck, so many people were like, whoa, this might be real, except Game Explain. Also, Gino was there. I really wanted Gino, okay? But here we are, just days from Smash Ultimate's release. It's been a really long road to get to this point, and normally I'd ask you what you guys think. Like, do you think Smash Ultimate will be just as bad as Brawl? Or, no pun intended, the Ultimate Smash Brothers game? But I know, I'm fairly confident that this is going to be the best. If it's not, I'm gonna eat my pantaloons. But I hope that you enjoyed this little trip down memory lane. Now, this wasn't a game analysis, this was a retrospective. I wanted to get my love for the Smash Bros. Franchise out there. I wanted to talk about how much I loved playing as Samus in Melee and learning that you could shoot super missiles. I wanted to talk about how I would stay up all night just to learn a little bit more of Super Smash Bros. I wanted to talk about how much this series has meant to me, not just as a gamer, gamers rise up, who has invested a lot of time into Nintendo, as someone who's been introduced to so many of these franchises through this little pet project that Masahiro Sakurai had. I'm really thankful for this franchise, and I'm really grateful that Nintendo gave Sakurai the green light, because if he didn't, my perspective on gaming as a whole would be completely different. I don't think I'd be the man I am today if it weren't for Smash Brothers. And though Mega Man is still my absolute favorite franchise, if it weren't for Smash Brothers, I would not have found Metroid or Metal Gear Solid, all of these games that I adore today. And even if you're not as passionate about the series as I am, I really appreciate you making it this far into the video. And with that said, I'll be seeing you guys later after the release of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. If you want me to make a follow-up video on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate after it comes out, let me know in the comments. That would mean a lot to me. But alright, I'll be seeing you guys later. Hopefully on the battlefield. Just don't kick my ass too hard. Alright, see ya.